Welcome to Shad's Guitar Show. Whether it's the gear or the players who made the gear famous, join me each week as we discuss all things guitar. Well, hey everyone, and welcome into another exciting episode of Shad's Guitar Show. I'm so glad that you are joining me for this episode and excited to jump into a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I want to talk today about my top 10 blues-flavored albums. So blues rock has been sort of my go-to genre since I started playing guitar. My early guitar mentor turned me onto some of the greatest music I'd never heard. Some of it was jazz, in particular Kenny Burrell, who I still absolutely love to this day. And there was the, smoother side of jazz, in particular guys like Lee Ritenour and Larry Carlton. Add in some country and a sprinkle of singer-songwriters like James Taylor, and I suppose you could say I got a well-rounded listening education early on. But I was in my late teens, and I loved the blues rock stuff the most, whether it was the southern side like Allman Brothers at Fillmore East, Clapton's Journeyman album, or Gary Moore's Still Got the Blues. I loved the energy and heavy dose of guitar muscle that I was hearing. As time has gone on, I've gone down about every genre's road, at least for a while. Alternative, blues, jazz, country, jam band, R&B, prog, surf, rockabilly, punk, metal, fusion, you get the idea. But I always feel most at home with the blues, or at least some variation of the blues. So here's my list of 10 epic blues-based albums that really affected me in a profound way. They aren't necessarily all blues albums in the traditional sense, but they all lean heavily into it. I'll link my favorite songs from each album in a playlist that will be linked in the show notes. So here we go, my top 10 favorite blues-flavored albums in no particular order. Number 1, Allman Brothers at Fillmore East. Probably no other album spent as many consecutive hours in the cassette deck of my 1976 Toyota Corolla in about 1991 as At Fillmore East did. This record is a tour de force of some of the best blues-based guitar interplay you'll ever hear. Amazing tone and killer chops are on full display in equal amounts from start to finish from both Duane Allman and Dickie Betts. It's hard to pick a favorite track, but I'd say In Memory of Elizabeth Reed is 13 minutes of as good as it gets in my book. Number 2, John Mayall and the Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton. When I first heard this album, I was blown away by the tone. Clapton set the bar for a million other guitar players with this first example of Les Paul into Marshall's sonic goodness. His playing was explosive and dynamic, and was a precursor to the supergroup that was to come, which many believe, and myself included, showcased Clapton's best playing ever. But back to the Beano album. Eric just kills it on every track. Raw, energetic, soaring, singing, and bearing witness to all his influences. Whatever you think of when you think of blues rock today, well, this album is ground zero, where it all started. Check out the track Steppin' Out and try to keep up. Number 3, ZZ Top's first album. I remember hearing the opening licks to the song Brown Sugar for the first time. This song wanders into the room with a mellow swagger and then catches fire at 1 minute and 43 seconds. The Reverend Billy Gibbons launches into a swampy, up-tempo groove that, if you have a pulse, will definitely get your head bobbing in time. The tones on this album are heavy, but not in the modern sense. I mean, it's not like a heavy, distorted thing, like you may be imagining when I say that. It's heavy in the sense that it's, big sounding. It's pearly gates, Billy's famous 59 Les Paul plugged straight into a Marshall Super Lead Plexi. To say these tones are epic is an understatement, and for me, this is the definitive sound of Texas blues rock. Number 4. B.B. King live at the Regal. B.B. King, for me and many others, is the undisputed king of the three kings and blues guitar in general. This album showcases a master in his prime. BB is in peak form from start to finish. His tone is unbelievable. His voice is equal parts robust and angelic. His band is in top form. Everything comes together on this masterpiece recording. BB was using a 1959 ES335 in Argentine gray, plugged into a Tweed Twin, and this represents some of the finest tone I've ever heard. Stinging and razor sharp with a sense of urgency that grabs you and doesn't let go. Check out the opening track, Every Day I Have the Blues. BB comes out swinging, establishes his dominance as a bluesman and master entertainer, and frankly, for 35 amazing minutes, never looks back. Number 5, Stevie Ray Vaughan's The Sky is Crying. So this was the first SRV album I ever heard, and his version of Jimmy's Little Wing alone is worth the price of admission. You can hear the buzzing of his amp in the quieter moments of this track, and if you close your eyes, you almost feel like you're there in the room. It's a masterclass in tone, phrasing, and dynamics. The song rises and falls in intensity and takes you on an emotional roller coaster ride. Stevie's version of Chitlin's Con Carne was also my introduction to one of my all-time favorite players, Kenny Burrell. Stevie's playing was as good as it gets. There will never be another SRV. Number 6, Kenny Burrell, Midnight Blue. Might as well get into the jazzier side of the blues since I just mentioned Kenny. I have a deep love for soul jazz, where some jazz can feel inaccessible to all but the fanatical jazz devotee. Kenny's brand of jazz has always leaned heavily into the blues. There's a familiarity in it. For the blues enthusiast, Kenny hints at jazz, but for the jazzer, Burrell hints at the blues. He's the perfect middle ground between these genres. Check out the closing track, K-Twist, for a helping of the best Rudy Van Gelder era ES-175 into Tweed Deluxe tone you'll likely ever hear. Number 7, Freddie King, Getting Ready. Freddie's voice is so soulful and elegant throughout this whole album. The standout track for me is The Key to the Highway, where Freddie's ES345 playing has a wonderful vocal singing quality, and an interesting hollow mid-range honk that cuts through the mix like a hot knife through butter. While Freddie King didn't write Going Down, which was originally written by Don Knox, he certainly immortalized it on this album for many of us. His version is fiery and aggressive with liberal doses of stinging guitar phrasing that are a masterclass for any aspiring blues rock player. Freddie is cited as a huge influence by many players, but none more than Eric Clapton. Which leads me to number 8 on my list, Eric Clapton's From the Cradle album. In 1994, Clapton shook off the polished pop sound of the Journeyman era and dove headfirst back into the blues. His voice is gravelly and authoritative from start to finish, and his ES335 tone is equal parts gritty, stinging, and elegant. This album is Eric reconnecting with his first love, the blues. Check out the track Tore Down for a masterclass in the art of up-tempo major key blues shuffle. Number 9, the 77's 88. Now here's one many of you will definitely not be familiar with. The 77s are a Christian band, but don't let that dissuade you if that's not your bag. The live album from, you guessed it, 1988 is a mix of blues, rock, rockabilly, and even a little country flavor. I was loaned this CD by my friend Paul, and I don't think it left my CD player for months. It was everything I was looking for. Michael Rowe's lyrics portrayed the struggle of grappling with life as a Christian in a world that made it difficult to hold that line. He sang of our fragility and propensity to be drawn to the trappings of our own self-serving needs and desires. It's not a happy album by any means. There are hopeful moments, of course, but it's an album that anyone can relate to, I believe. If nothing else as a guitar player, you'll definitely connect with the riffs, solos, and tones throughout. There is some masterful playing, and I'd cite the track I Can't Get Over It as a standout. And number 10 is Robben Ford and the Blue Line, Mystic Mile. This may actually be my favorite blues rock album of all time. I can say with definite certainty that Robben Ford is my favorite guitar player. Every track on this album is a masterclass in tone and phrasing. Robben's playing is a mix of robust, edgy, stinging, jazz-tinged, outside, elegant goodness, And I, like many others, can't get enough. Check out the closing track, Mystic Mile, a laid-back groove that is loaded with some of the tastiest blues playing and tone you've ever heard. There are so many great albums that could have made this list. Certainly, you've got your own list, and I'm sure there may be a few on mine that would intersect with yours. That's the beauty of music. There's always a handful of really special albums that connect with us on a deep and meaningful level. So leave a comment and let me know about a few of your favorites. I'd love to hear what speaks to you. If you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure to share it with a friend and leave a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. This is incredibly helpful to the show, and I appreciate the support. Also, please subscribe to Shad's Guitar Show on YouTube and follow me on Instagram at Shad's Guitar Show. And as always, the best guitar player is the one having the most fun.